La Plata is the capital city of the province of Buenos Aires, Argentina, and of the partido La Plata. According to the 2001 census, it has a population of 765,378 and its metropolitan area has 899,523 inhabitants. La Plata was planned and developed to serve as the provincial capital after the city of Buenos Aires was federalized in 1880. It was officially founded by Governor Dardo Rocha on 19 November 1882. Its construction is fully documented in photographs by Thomas Bradley Sutton. La Plata was renamed Eva Perón City between 1952 and 1955. The city is home to two important First Division football teams, Estudiantes de La Plata and Gimnasia y Esgrima La Plata. History and description. Rocha decided to erect a new city to host the provincial government institutions and a university which had already been planned. Urban planner Pedro Benoit designed a city layout based on a rationalist conception of urban centers. The city has the shape of a square with a central park and two main diagonal avenues, north to south and east to west. In addition, there are numerous other shorter diagonal streets. This design is copied in a self-similar manner in small blocks of 6 by 6 blocks in length. For every 6 blocks, there is a small park, a square. Other than the diagonal streets, all streets are on a rectangular grid and are numbered consecutively. Thus, La Plata is nicknamed La Ciudad de las Diagonales. It is also called La Ciudad de los Tilos because of the large number of linden trees lining the many streets and squares. The linden tree is one of a number of deciduous northern hemisphere tree species which dominate La Plata's parks and streets. Ash, horse chestnut, plane, sweet gum and tulip tree are among the other examples. Palms and subtropical broadleaf evergreen trees thrive, but are comparatively infrequent. The city design and its buildings are noted to possess a strong Freemason symbolism. This is said to be a consequence of both Rocha and Benoit being Freemasons. The designs for the government buildings were chosen in an international architectural competition. Thus, the Governor Palace was designed by Italians, the City Hall by Germans, etc. Electric street lighting was installed in 1884, and was the first of its kind in Latin America. The neo-Gothic Cathedral of La Plata is the largest church in Argentina. The Curachet House is one of the two buildings by Le Corbusier built in the Americas. The Teatro Argentino de La Plata is one of the most important opera houses in Argentina, second to the Teatro Colón in Buenos Aires. The theater was built on the square block between 9th and 10th Street and 51st and 53rd Avenue. It was opened on November 19, 1890. It was designed by Leopoldo Rocha in Renaissance style. The work was funded by the first inhabitants of La Plata, but as maintenance was very expensive, it was later donated to the province of Buenos Aires. In the foyer entering through the majestic doors, there was a beautiful white Carrara marble staircase. In the concert hall hangs a huge chandelier with trimmings suspended from the ceiling. The easy chairs were tapestried in blue velveteen and the Bordeaux curtain was embroidered in gold. It had marvelous acoustics. In those years, the students of the Verdi Conservatory of Music performed in the theater. Their annual show of classical Spanish and folklore dances with the teachers Carmen de Toledo, Mrs. Schubert and Nelly Rossotti respectively. Surrounding the theater was the Peace Garden, containing flags and national flowers of several countries. People strolled and children played along its stony paths. However, fate decreed that it would not be saved from fire on October 18, 1977 at 2:30 p.m. This has been noted as one of the largest losses to La Plata's historical heritage. It was later replaced by a new building, which houses the theater's orchestra, choir and ballet, boasting several halls. The University of La Plata was founded in 1897 and nationalized in 1905. It is well known for its observatory and natural history museum. Ernesto Sabato graduated in physics at this university. He went on to teach at the Sorbonne and the MIT before becoming a famed novelist. Dr. René Favela was another famous alumnus. During its early years, the university attracted a number of renowned intellectuals from the Spanish-speaking world, such as Dominican Pedro Henrique Ureña. San Ponciano Church is situated on the corner of 48th and 5th Streets. It was the first chapel in La Plata, inaugurated on November 19, 1883, on the first anniversary of the foundation of the city. The project belongs to Pedro Benoit, who was also the designer of the city plan. Its neo-Gothic style has been well kept and the inner paintings are now being restored. The founder of the city, Dardo Rocha, named it San Ponciano in memory of his son, Ponciano. Saint Ponciano was born in Rome. In 230 he was elected as Bishop of Rome and Pope. Because of the Christian persecution he was forced into exile to the unhealthy Sardinia island. In 235 he resigned his position as Pope because he did not want to leave the Church in a difficult situation during his absence. He died in 235 and was buried in the catacombs of St. Calixtus among 8 other popes. Inside the church, you can see the authentic Virgin de Luyan niche, which was moved here in 1904. La Plata in the 20th century. Under Alvear's administration, Enrique Mosconi, the president of the oil state company Yacimientos Petrolíferos Fiscales, created the distillery of La Plata, which was the 10th largest in the world. On the 10th of December 1945, in the parish church of St. Francis of Assisi in this city, Juan Domingo Perón and Eva Duarte got married. The city was renamed in 1952 as Eva Perón, though its original name was restored in 1955. Several daily newspapers are published there, the most prominent of which is El Dia. In October 1998, UNESCO approved the city's bid to gain recognition as a World Heritage Site. The approval is still pending due to various objections to the criterion of maintaining architectural and landscape over recent decades, which in the opinion of other specialists has produced severe damage to the original design and contextual aesthetics. Present sports and stadiums. The Estadio Ciudad de La Plata, also known as the Estadio Único, opened on June 7, 2003, as one of the most modern football stadiums in Latin America. Various other construction and renovation projects have continued, including the addition of a roof structure. Estudiantes has become a permanent tenant of the new stadium while their own stadium is being modernized. Gimnasia La Plata has only played occasional home games in this stadium. In 2011, the Estadio Ciudad de La Plata was one of the host sites for the 2011 Copa America, including an opening round match between Argentina and Bolivia, a semi-final game, and the third-place final. Now, the stadium is additionally used for concerts and Puma matches. During 2009, following a series of agreements between the city and municipality, the governor of the province and the nation's presidency, progress was made in the final transfer of the land of the Paseo del Bosque to Estudiantes and Gimnasia La Plata clubs. On June 24, 2009, the Deliberative Council adopted the convention and the ordinance for which Gimnasia and Estudiantes clubs received grants for the lands on which the home grounds are currently located within El Bosque. Elections and civic advances. On the 28th of October 2007, Pablo Bruera was elected mayor with 26% of the votes, replacing Julio Alec, who had been mayor since 1991. On the 25th of February 2009, La Plata debuted a parking system that uses text messaging, thus becoming the first city in Argentina to use technology applications to control parking. Passage Rodrigo, a traditional gal area, which had been opened in 1929 by Spanish immigrant Basilio Rodrigo and had been closed to the public for 10 years, reopened its doors on April 2009 as Passage Rodrigo Shopping Mall. On the 25th of October 2015, Julio Garro was elected mayor with 41.35% of the votes, replacing Pablo Bruera, who had been mayor since 2007. Geography. Location. Located in the northeastern area of the province of Buenos Aires, La Plata is surrounded by Ensenada and Barraza to the northeast, Berazategui and Florencio Varela to the northwest, San Vicente and Coronel Branson to the southwest and south, and Magdalena to the southeast, occupying an area of 893 kilometers. The metropolitan area of La Plata includes the neighborhoods of Tolosa, Ringlet, Manuel B. Gonnet, City Bell, Villa Eliza, Melchor Romero, Abisto, Gorina, Jose Hernandez, Angel Echeverry, Arturo Segui, Los Hornos, Lisandro Elmos, Villa Elvira and Altos de San Lorenzo, all of which have community centers that operate as local delegations. Climate. La Plata has a humid subtropical climate. During winter, temperatures are cool during the day and cold during the evening, which can reach below freezing. The average temperature in the coldest month, July, is 8.9 degrees Celsius. Snowfall in the city is extremely rare. The last significant snowfall fell on the 9th of July 2007, while the previous one had taken place on the 22nd of June 1918. Winters tend to be cloudier than summer, averaging around 10 overcast days from June to August, compared to 6 overcast days from December to February. Summers are warm to hot with a January high of 29 degrees Celsius, while nighttime temperatures are cooler, averaging 18 degrees Celsius. Spring and fall are transition seasons featuring warm daytime temperatures and cool nighttime temperature, highly variable with some days reaching above 32 degrees Celsius and below 0 degrees Celsius. The city is fairly humid. Owing to its coastal location, its average monthly humidity is higher than 75%. La Plata receives 1,092 millimeters of precipitation annually, with winters being the drier months, and summer the wetter months. On average, La Plata receives 2,285 hours of sunshine a year, or 51% of possible sunshine, ranging from a low of 41% in June and July to 62% in February. The highest temperature recorded was 39.9 degrees Celsius on December 18, 1995, while the lowest temperature recorded was -5.4 degrees Celsius on July 17, 2010. Snowfall is extremely rare in the city, with only 5 major snowfall events: July 1912, June 22, 1981, 1928, July 9, 2007 during the July 2007 Argentine winter storm, and on June 6, 2012. Earthquakes. The region lies on the Punta del Este Fault, and its latest event occurred on the 5th of June 1888, at 3:20 UTC-3 with a magnitude of 5.5 on the Richter scale. Government. Given the federal system of government in Argentina, there are 3 orders or ranks: the national, provincial and municipal. The executive branch in La Plata is exercised by the municipal mayor, elected by popular vote every 4 years with the possibility of unlimited re-election. The town hall is known as the Palacio Municipal and is located in the block surrounded by streets 51, 53, 11 and 12. In the city center, it is one of the important buildings that surround Plaza Moreno, and is opposite the cathedral. The current mayor is Pablo Bruera, but in the past 2015 elections, the new mayor selected was Julio Garro. The city government is divided into different areas. These are: Private Secretary, Secretary General, Ministry of Economy, Ministry of Public Management, Social Development Secretariat, Ministry of Culture, Ministry of Modernization and Economic Development, Ministry of Justice, Secretary of Health and Social Medicine, Chief of Staff, Regional Market La Plata, Management Consortium Puerto La Plata, Executive Unit, Revenue Agency, Environment Agency, Implementation Unit, Human Rights Department, Ministry of Government, Policy Planning Council, Regional Production and Employment, and the City Council. As it is the capital of the Province of Buenos Aires, La Plata is also home to the 3 provincial powers. The provincial executive along with its ministries, the judiciary and the provincial legislature, have the seat in La Plata. Economy. According to the National Economic Survey 2004-2005, a total of 23,844 local listings, 90% are dedicated to the production of goods and services, 4% belonged to the civil service, 2% for semi-side shows are removable, 1% for worship, political parties and unions, and the remaining 2% was in the process of classification. Finance. La Plata has a stock market founded in 1960, member of the Argentine stock market system. In the city there are branches of major banks operating in the country, including Banco Nación, Banco Provincia, Banco Ciudad de Buenos Aires, Banco Hipotecario, HSBC, Citigroup, Banco Aitor, Francés Macro, Standard Bank, etc. Population. The urban area, according to the National Census of Population and Housing 2001, has a population of 740,369 inhabitants. Furthermore, the La Plata partido's population since 1960 was developed as follows: 1960 census, 337,060 inhabitants. 1970 census, 391,247 inhabitants. 1980 census, 459,054 inhabitants. 1991 census, 521,759 inhabitants. 2001 census, 763,943 inhabitants. 2010 census, 799,523 inhabitants. In 1991 to 2001, the population growth slowed, as was the case in many cities in Argentina. Meanwhile, La Plata's population was 763,943 in 2001, which made the city the 6th largest agglomeration in Argentina by population. Following the population growth rate in 2009, it is estimated the city has 894,253 inhabitants. The population is predominantly descended from Spaniards and Italians, but there are also groups of German, Arabic, Jewish and Polish descent. Spanish community. As for the Spanish community, stands out in their contributions, for example with renowned Spanish hospital. Spain has also acknowledged the community by installing a consulate in the city of La Plata. Italian community. It highlights the Italian Federation of the Consular District of La Plata, which brings together many institutions involved in the community. This community also has a school. Italy has also set up a consulate in La Plata. The city boasts the renowned Italian hospital. Arab community. The Arab community also has several institutions, including the Syriac Orthodox Welfare Association, Association Islamic Argentino de La Plata, and the Lebanese Society of La Plata. Jewish community. The Jewish community of La Plata has numerous institutions, including AMIA La Plata, which has under its orbit Hebrew school Haim Nachman Bialik and the Jewish cemetery of the city, the Beit Chabad La Plata, part of Chabad Lubavitch, Argentina, and has a library and a synagogue, the Central Sephardic Jewish Cultural Association, and Max Nordau. Education. La Plata hosts one of the most renowned universities in Argentina, the National University of La Plata. It has over 75,000 regular students, 8,000 teaching staff, 16 faculties, and 106 available degrees. UNLP students and professors include Raúl Alfonsín, President of Argentina; Néstor Kirchner, President of Argentina; Cristina Fernández de Kirchner, President of Argentina; René Favela, Carlos Saavedra Lamas, Ernesto Sabato, Mario Bunge, Florentino Ameguino, Juan José Arevalo, Emilio Petrucci, Pedro Henriquez Ureña. 4 high school institutes are under UNLP control. 3 of them are located in La Plata: Rafael Hernández National High School, Victor Mercantil Lyceum, Fine Arts High School. La Plata is also home of 4 other universities: Universidad Católica de La Plata, Universidad Notarial Argentina, Facultad Regional de la Universidad Tecnológica Nacional, Universidad del Este, La Plata. Students come to these 4 universities from every part of Argentina and other countries, giving the city a rich, young, multicultural lifestyle. There is also an international school for translators, traductorado, architecture, and the composition of the city. La Plata is a planned city, urban planning paradigm of the late 19th century. It is also an example of hygiene, which was becoming important in that time. The trace of the city, designed by architect Pedro Benoit, characterized by a strict grid, and its many avenues and diagonals. The convergence of the 2 major diagonals, 73 and 74, which cross the city from east to west and from north to south respectively, takes place in Plaza Moreno. This square, in whose center is the foundation stone, the heart of the city, is the main square of the city, and it is between the city hall and the cathedral, located at 14 Degree 1943, between 51 and 53, high Gothic, with its towers, 112 meters high, could be completed only in 1999. Highlights of the city of the Museum of Natural Sciences, the building of the interior, the provincial legislature, the new theater, and the hippodrome. Many of these buildings were built at the time of the founding of the city, following an international call for proposals. They are often called buildings erected, and most of them are on the shaft foundation, which blocks are located between 51st and 53rd Streets. Another work is the parent company of Banco de la Provincia de Buenos Aires, located between the streets 6, 7, 46 and 47. This building was designed by architects Juan A. Busciazzo and Luis Viglione. It opened on the 19th of April 1886, being amended in 1913 and in the 1970s. It is a very green city, with its largest so-called Paseo del Bosque, with its lake, amphitheater Martin Fierro, the zoo and botanical garden, Victorian Astronomical Observatory, a natural history museum, Museum, part of the UNLP, with its famous collections. Other attractions are the nearby Parque Pereira and the so-called Children's Republic, which is said may have inspired Walt Disney to build Disneyland. Then, there are videos that prove that Disney, prior to building the park, visited the Children's Republic during his visit to Argentina. Architecturally, the neo-Gothic cathedral called La Colorada, the former Central Railway station. In 1977 the city lost due to a fire one of its most valuable monuments, the Teatro Argentino de La Plata, predominantly neoclassic style. Instead they built a new brutalist-style theatre. The city also has the Estadio Ciudad de La Plata, influenced by modern architecture, high-tech architecture, through a national competition which was amended in a subsequent project to expand capacity and cover. It is anticipated that by mid-2010s concrete decks, semi-transparent Kevlar and plastic resins. La Plata has one commercial airport, Aeropuerto de La Plata, which is not served by any airlines. Awards received by the city. The city was awarded at the Exposition Universelle in Paris in 1889, an event in which the new city was given the 2 gold medals awarded in the categories City of the Future and Better Performance Bill. La Plata Cemetery. The municipal cemetery of La Plata was established in 1886 for the new capital of the province of Buenos Aires. It was designed by Pedro Benoit, who was also responsible for the design of the city. It lies on the intersection of Avenue 31, 72 and Diagonal 74 in the southern tip. It has some remarkable architectural features both in its main entrance as in many of the family vaults, which include neoclassical, neo-Gothic, Art Nouveau, Art Deco and Egyptian Revival styles. The main entrance is an impressive neoclassical portico with Doric columns. The Catholic chapel, in Romanesque Revival style, was finished in 1950. Its annex, the Jewish cemetery, belongs to the Asociación Mutual Israelita Argentina in La Plata and is located on Avenue 72. Sports. The most popular sport in the city, as in the whole country, is football. Among the many clubs that play football in the city, 2 of them stand out above the rest, and these are the clubs Estudiantes de La Plata and Gimnasia y Esgrima La Plata, who currently play in the Argentine Primera Division. Estudiantes is the only team who won a national or international cup on the city. For these 2 teams came out great players like Martin Palermo, Francisco Varallo, Joan Sebastian Veron and his father, Gustavo and Guillermo Barros Scalato, Leandro Cofre, among others. The city also has the Liga Amateur Platense de Football that encompasses dozens of clubs in the region, such as Club Atlético Estrella de Berriza, La Plata Football Club, Asociación Nueva Alianza, Club Everton, among others. Basketball has a place in the Torneo Nacional de Ascenso, through Gimnasia y Esgrima La Plata. In addition, through the Asociación Platense de Basketball, the city has leagues and tournaments for all levels and categories: cadet, kids, pre-kids, which involved clubs, Gimnasia y Esgrima La Plata, Estudiantes, Centro Fomento de los Hornos, Club Atenes, Unión Vecinal, Centro de Fomento Meridiano V, Club Cultural y Deportivo Juventud, among others. Auto racing also has its importance in the city from the hands of the Turismo Carretera. For this competition is a racetrack called Autodromo Roberto José Moras in honor of the historic Chevrolet driver died in Lobos in 1992. Other information relating to motorsport in the city has to do with the last Argentine Formula One pilot, who was the Platense Gaston Mazacan, that after 21 races in Formula One came to compete in the Champ Car and Top Race V6. Rugby, meanwhile, is a comprehensive discipline of fans in the city. The most representative clubs are La Plata Rugby Club, Club San Luis, Los Tilos, Universitario and Albatross. From 2012, La Plata will host a round of the IRB Sevens World Series. Of note is the traditional seat of turf in the city. La Plata has a racetrack, the third in order of competition and offer careers in the country. Volleyball teams include Gimnasia y Esgrima and Universitario. Hockey also claims two teams, Universitario and Santa Barbara.